the farmer carried out a strike on terrorist elements along the Songa Maka in the Jene district. Ladies and gentlemen, according to the words of the general staffs of the Malian armed forces, the farmer they praised the responsiveness of the men on the ground, and according to them, they said this assures that the farmer spares no effort to eliminate the terrorist armed groups through the territory. Ladies and gentlemen, according to the information we received, there was a very, very long surveillance operation. So they carried out this operation along this route, and the terrorists actually were well concealed. You know, they had a base there, they were well concealed, they gave nothing off that could actually raise alarm. But you know, the Malian tacticians, they've actually become very, very thirsty for smoke. And, you know, immediately they spotted the jihadists, they pointed down on them, and the offensive capabilities was let loose. And, you know, there were so many visitors to the gates of Valhalla, you know. So as we speak now, a lot of terrorists have been dispatched in that location. So this is a very, very incredible job by the farmers of Mali. And it only means a lot now at a time where Africa is being confronted by a severe level of escalation, right? And it's so unfortunate to know that some African countries, the perpetrators, they are conniving with the perpetrators of this infiltration to the continent of Africa. And a lot of people must come to realize this, right? The Malians are responding in a way that is very, very shocking to these infiltrators, right? And the infiltrators continue to try every time, they continue to try every day, they are not sleeping. And so are the Malians not sleeping. So, I mean, when I mean the Malians, I'm not just talking about the farmer, the citizens of Mali. Do you know how impressed I am whenever I go to the internet space and I see how much effort the Malian people put in place to back up their country? And you know, the reason why I love Mali so much is, and I love the Malian people so much, I have to be honest with you, is because you don't have a false reality, you don't have a pseudo reality where people are telling a narrative that is against the realities on the ground. The Malians are actually very passionate with what they do. They are telling the world about what is really, really going on in Mali. And they were, I believe that they must have been shocked at the narrative that France was trying to put out there. You know, it is very, very hard for France at this time for Mali to display the Malian reality to the world, because the Malian reality is a golden reality. The Malian reality is a wealthy reality. It's a reality with so many opportunities. So two countries that won't want the world to know about this: Algeria, I think Mauritania to a certain level, then France. Because the way the French authorities actually painted Mali was like it's a battlefield for terrorism. Like it's a poverty, you know, bed center. Like, but again, we can all see the real realities of Mali. How can you tell me that they just discovered a new gold site in Kidal in the Tandalahak region? Before we know what's going on, they discovered gold in Gao recently, just about some few days back, maybe 30 days ago. And they continue to discover new resources. Is it the lithium? So many strategic resources that the Malians continue to discover. And this thing is going to affect their economy. You still continue to see that France continue to say that their economy is in shambles and all of that. And IMF is saying that the economy of Mali in 2026 will rise by above 4%. And you have, because you can see Is it the Barrick gold contract? Is it the new gold mines? Is it the lithium plants? Mali is taking strategic step. And the reason why I love this step is it's not like they are privatizing all these things. These things are national project that has a direct effect on the life of the populace. So it kind of worries me most of the time when you see the narrative of this invaders, this strangers that wants to be Sahelians so much, that wants to be Africans so much. If possible, right? They want to be black. They want to be a black albino at all costs. But ladies and gentlemen, we can see that the reality is very, very different. And I want to say kudos. I want to give a very, very big kudos to the Malian people generally for putting in so much work to make sure that the world really, really sees the reality that counter the pseudo capability of the false narrative and the propaganda that these malicious elements are trying to put out there. Now, another large fuel convoy has now arrived the capital of Mali, Bamako. Ladies and gentlemen, without no further ado, let's watch this video. Now, from what you can see in that video, the fuel convoy, you can see that according to information, they are in their several hundreds. So it begs the question, where is the glorified fuel blockade? This is today, right? This is the reality of Mali today. Where is that fuel blockade? Is it no longer in existence? Mali is big now. The route of this convoy, the route they go through is so big, it's so long, right? So at least if this glorious fuel blockade lie and this propaganda they were actually glorifying on Western media, if it actually exists, why has the whole of this tanker? You see, one thing I've noticed about Western tactics is it's like when a bully fights you for the first time. The first punch looks like, oh, but every other punch after that is just very, very, it's predictable, it's bad, it's ugly. Remember the first convoy they actually ambushed? Oh, they were making a lot of noise about it. And now here is the new reality of Mali today. No blockade of of any type. And it's not like they are not attempting to do something for their media dopamine. That's that false gratification, that false accomplishment they want to get. Oh, we told you that Mali is there's a fuel blockade going on. But what is surprising them right now, covertly, because they cannot show you that they're surprised, is the fact that Mali has responded decisively. So what they are surprised about is like, wow, so Mali can actually do this thing without us. Remember that when those people speak, they look for, when they speak, the jihadists will move immediately. They are like the controllers of the jihadists. They operate the command centers for the jihadists. When they say, oh, this thing is going on, you will see that the jihadists will do so much to make sure that thing comes to pass. Then that is when African Union and ECOWAS will come in. And they will try to back up their narrative, calling them for help. Because when you call the international community, it's not like you're calling the whole world. It's not like you're calling Jamaica. It's not like you're calling, it's not like you're calling fellow African countries. They want you to call them the imperialists, the armed robbers. You understand? So they have their agents, they have that stratum of command. First is to create a narrative. It has to be a narrative, right? Then the narrative backed up by the mainstream media. Then after that, the jihadists will move to make sure that the reality and the narrative look very, very familiar. And the next thing, like their stooges, like this organization in Africa will try to start calling, like this playbook is so old. For how long will they continue to use this? Everybody now knows about it. Look at how the Nigerian foreign minister was just addressing them. But anyway, it is their business. Now, when you look at the fuel convoy that just entered today, you just know that, the realities of Mali is so different from what the Western world wants you to believe. We have a situation in Chad where a wedding in the village of Amdirib, actually went from, a very, very happy mood and it ended in tragedy. As one of the celebrants was enjoying himself, he picked up an AK-47 rifle, and I don't know if he had ever shot or handled an AK-47 rifle before, and I think he lost control of the rifle, and before you know what was going on, he shot, he fatally shot one of the guests, and by the time they took the guest to the hospital, he couldn't make it out and he died. It was so sad. And ladies and gentlemen, let's watch the video so that you can just know what really, really happened there. And you can kindly drop your opinion in the comment section. If it was just a malfunction, or something, that what could have gone wrong right there? Because I can't really understand why would someone that is not used to picking up a rifle just pick up a rifle and just fire like that and all of that. Or could he have been that he was drunk or something? So our sincere condolences to the Chadian people. You guys have been doing a very, very fantastic job, and may the peace of God be with the families of the bereaved. So now Mali, according to Shodi AG, which is a very, very important figure in Mali, he says something which really corroborates with one of the information that we've been hearing, that Mali has now completely acquired all type of drone capability, the TB2 drone capability, the Baraktar Akinshi capability, and the Aksongo capability. And according to what we heard, together with what this Shodi AG said, what we heard from other sources is that Mali wants to make sure that the surveillance and the capabilities of the air components, when it comes to the airspace of Mali, that they take it to a whole new level. When they have to when they have to deploy their fighter jet, they are deploying, that they just want to have that capability to be able to respond very, very fast. And they have a lot of helicopters that are assigned to different theaters of command, that just give the troops the capability they need to be able to destroy any jihadi enclave. And they even sometimes they work with mechanized artilleries, and man, the Malians are actually doing a very, very fantastic job at this time. So ladies and gentlemen, the Aksongo drone is really, really a game changer, and it has more blast radius. The TNT drops, it has even a more catastrophic blast radius as compared to the Baraktar Kinshi drone. So this is just a good sign that the Malian government is really, really doing a great job. And one thing that really surprises me is that I know the mainstream media will not tell you the truth, but terrorism in Mali is not like it used to be. At least when I met Mali, when I found Mali, because a lot of us are in Africa, but to be honest, we are not really in Africa, because I can tell you that somebody in South Africa might not know what is going on with the person in Sudan. It's just the reality of the century. So, like, when I knew about Mali, the way and I don't even think that was their reality, but a lot of people that are getting to know Mali, they know Mali through the projection of the mainstream media, the lies that the mainstream media prints about these beautiful countries. And the realities of these countries are very, very different from what they project. But for me, what I'm seeing so far, so good, the activities of the terrorists have actually been beaten down. Like, it's not a sort of pathologic escalation like it used to be. So, I mean, kudos to the Malian armed forces. You guys are doing a very fantastic job. And, more power to the people of Mali and to Assimi Goita. He has really, really done a very fantastic job. And also, in the same vein, Assimi Goita also partook in the graduation ceremony and the promotion ceremony of some of the officer cadre that have actually graduated in Mali. Ladies and gentlemen, let's watch this video.
Tout d'abord, je voudrais rendre grâce à Allah le Tout-Puissant qui nous a donné une fois de plus l'occasion de célébrer la marche irréversible de notre armée et qui est un symbole de souveraineté. Et c'est aussi avec un immense plaisir en présidant cette cérémonie qui est devenue désormais une tradition bien ancrée dans la vie des forces armées de défense et de sécurité. La remise des épaulettes aux 343 officiers marque non seulement la fin de leur formation, mais le début de leur carrière dans les forces armées de défense et de sécurité. Et cela s'inscrit en droite ligne de la vision des auteurs de la transition, qui est de disposer une armée à la hauteur des menaces qui caractérisent notre environnement national et international. Je voudrais remercier le peuple malien et saluer surtout la résilience du peuple malien qui a très vite compris depuis le début de la transition de soutenir les orientations des outils de la transition et qui est de refonder notre outil de défense. Et cela passe forcément par les ressources humaines, c'est-à-dire bien recruter, avoir une formation adaptée et assurer le bien-être non seulement du soldat et de sa famille, et améliorer les conditions de vie et de travail. Et cela passe forcément aussi par les équipements des forces armées et de défense à la hauteur de la menace et surtout la mission. Donc c'est la combinaison de ces différents éléments qui détermine non seulement la capacité, la puissance et la montée en puissance d'une armée. Et quand nous regardons aujourd'hui l'environnement géopolitique, les tensions des groupes armés terroristes auxquels notre pays fait face, et cela exige de nous non seulement de s'adapter de façon permanente, aussi de construire un outil de défense robuste et professionnel, capable de se déployer, de se projeter en tout temps, en tous lieux, en toutes circonstances, pour la défense opérationnelle du territoire national, la sécurité des personnes et de leurs biens, mais surtout de défendre tout ce qui est non seulement la souveraineté économique, comme vous le savez aujourd'hui, avec le changement des objectifs des cibles des groupes armés terroristes, en fonction des orientations de leurs sponsors étrangers, nous devons non seulement nous adapter, et surtout construire une armée digne de ce nom, capable d'assurer la défense de la patrie. Aux officiers de la promotion fait général de brigade Pangaché Sangaré, je voudrais d'abord les féliciter, les encourager, en ayant comme parrain le général de brigade Pangaché Sangaré, qui a été un modèle, une référence dans notre armée. Et il a gravé tous les échelons, du nouveau chef de peloton jusqu'au chef général des armées, chose rare dans notre armée. Donc ils sont désormais appelés non seulement à ne pas démériter, à faire preuve de leadership, d'engagement et surtout de professionnalisme. Et ils doivent désormais retenir que la puissance d'une armée ne vaut que par la valeur des hommes et des femmes qui la composent, Donc désormais, ils sont appelés non seulement à se former davantage, et surtout à prendre soin de leurs subordonnés sans lesquels aucune réussite ne sera possible. Donc je voudrais les demander que face à la complicité et à la menace terroriste, ils doivent avoir un esprit de sacrifice, un engagement constant et surtout une détermination et une dignité face à l'adversité.
When you look at everything that Assimi Goita said right there, those words are out of the broom box. It's actually saying the truth. And Assimi Goita is just so calm. Physically, he's a monster. But in terms of the way he speaks, he's so decent, so cool. I mean, you can't just believe that that's the Assimi Goita the world is talking about, right? But that is a very, very dangerous man when it comes to taking decisive decision. You can't really believe that that is Assimi Goita, the man they are talking about. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's how strong men. That's how they come. That's how they come. Unfortunately. So, according to what we are hearing, there was this case that Oranos accused the Nigerian government of, illegally transporting uranium from the Alit mine and all of that they were not involved in the contractual process, they were not involved in the negotiation process, they were not involved in the trade, and they termed it, they deemed it as illegal and all of that. But according to the information we are now hearing now, right? We are hearing that the Nigerian civil community, they have now, like the association, they have now accused Orano of overstepping their boundary, that no organization whatsoever can tell the Nigerian people what to do, how to do it, when to do it, as regards their strategic natural resources. According to what they said the strategic resources of Niger belongs to the Nigerian and the Nigerian people alone, and it has nothing to do with Orano or whichever country Orano represents. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you think about this information? Now, it takes us to the next information. The farmers of Mali located a terrorist base in Quessebougou. A large number of the terrorists, they were neutralized after the Malians actually dropped a very, very, heavy TNT on them. According to the information we have, at this time, they said about 25 of these terrorists have been neutralized. And according to what we heard, the ground troops actually moved in to engage some of the remnants, potential survivors of these terrorists, just to make sure it's a complete sweep. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you think about that? More powers to the Malians. I just love the way the Malians are proving continuously that they are very, very effective, and they've actually transitioned and adapted properly, to this non-conventional warfare. And that really, really has more to do with the response time and the non-failing civilian intelligence and the response time of the military surveillance. And so far so good. The Malians are working as a unit, and that's how you beat the scourge of this type of war of aggression that have been imposed upon the Sahel. So, ladies and gentlemen, report has it that majority of uniform men that France sent to the Sahel during its Operation Barkhane and all of that, they said most of them were not soldiers, right? That most of them were mining engineers, most of them were surveyors, and that most of them were geologists. And according to what they said that was why Operation Barkhane was a failure. They said because the men that were deployed had nothing to do with military experience. It had everything to do with the mineral resources of Mali. So, according to what we heard, further investigation said that further research that was actually done said that was why most of this personnel that represented France, they would move into specific locations that the local security forces would not. They would tell the local security forces that, look, we are the only one that can come in here you can't go into so location, so it's better you stay behind. And by the time they are coming back, most of their vehicles and their body are always filled with red sand. Ladies and gentlemen, you can just imagine. So when you see them saying that, you know, the funny thing is, when France even talks, most of the time they speak as if the people, right? They speak as if the people of this country, the way they argue, they argue as if whatever they are doing is in the interest of the citizens of the Sahel nation. And I think at this point, the way the citizens of this Sahel nations are replying and responding to them, it just shows you that the people are out of this bag of lies that they've downloaded into the head of African, innocent Africans for a very long time. And the more they continue to use these terrorists to sort of provoke the people, in my opinion, at this point, I think the more they continue to expose themselves, and the more they continue to reap their harvest of shame. So I don't know, if the earlier they stop, the better. But anyway, now we have an information from Nigeria. Over 30 Fulani terrorists have now been captured by the locals. Ladies and gentlemen, I won't lie to you. Based on what I am saying so far, the performance of the local, I know the armed forces are really, really trying their best, but with the performance of the locals, these are 30. Now imagine a world where, everything is working perfectly, and because so far so good, I am seeing a situation where the locals are even more efficient, they are doing more, they are getting more result on the line of contact. So why not just let people defend themselves? And nobody's asking that you should give them the capabilities to be able to stop or annihilate or eliminate the threats. People are just asking, like, okay, make it legal for us to be able to defend ourselves with whatever capability we can put our hands upon. And we can actually, after this whole war, the people can actually disarm. It's called disarmament. So people can actually give up their arms and all of that. I know that is going to really, really be difficult in a country like Nigeria that has a lot of, civilian population. But given the current realities, the people have to defend themselves somehow. Because to be honest with you, I think a lot is going on. I have a lot of video I can't even post here. But then again, there is a serious escalation between, the Port Harcourt youths and the Fulanis today. And, from the clips, you can actually see that people are not really, really happy with the Fulanis.
Serious fight between some boys in Ichi and cattle raiders. Serious fight though. The boys are threatening to kill the cow. Don't know what is happening, but it's very serious fight. Very serious fight. Don't know what's happening. Follow this bush. Follow this bush. But it's serious fight though. Serious fight ongoing. Serious fight ongoing in the chain. The boys are threatening to kill the cattle people. They are fighting, no serious fight, they don't pursue the cow. Carry the cow, go, not beat anybody. Carry the cow, go, not beat anybody. Carry the cow, go, not beat anybody, I beg. They are threatening that they will see HA boys, so HA boys don't block, say cow will not enter. See all the cows are inside the bush stranded, crying. Those ones are still running back. This is HA, Egui in HA. Egui in HA. See the community boys say cow, they should carry all the cow away. All the small fight too.
I think, based on the realities of what we are seeing that is going on recently, most especially in Nigeria and in the Sahel, if care is not taken, the Fulanis might be at risk. Why am I saying it? Because most people now, even if some of those people are not Fulanis, once somebody gets shot now, everybody says is a Fulani. So this might actually send a wrong message to the people. Now imagine there is a civil war. Imagine the whole population going against that ethnic group that is actually a minority. Now, where there is an anarchy and there is breakdown, complete breakdown of law and order, and everybody unites against, it could actually lead to very, very detrimental decide. It could actually lead to something that is very, very dangerous, and this will really, really put the survivor of that particular ethnic group at risk. So for me, I feel like instead of some of the Fulanis to just come online and support, because I've actually seen a situation where some of them will come online and they will still support what had been done, and most especially when the terrorist does it and they shout Allah Akbar, most of them will just blindly support it because of what was said at the end of it, and they don't really know that whoever these people are, they are really, really putting their own innocent lives at risk. Because if things change, the consequence could actually be very, very devastating. But ladies and gentlemen, this is the information we have for now. This is the last video I have for the month of November. If you like this video, you can help us. You can take us far by just hitting the like button. And if you're new on the channel, we want you to stay. So you can hit on the subscribe button. And you're feeling generous, you can leave us a comment in the comment section below. It's your boy 7200 signing out enough said. But before I go, I want to appreciate everybody on the Android community for your love, for your support, for your unwavering trust in our platform to always bring you quality and very, very honest information. We really, really respect that, and we'll continue to do everything in our power, in our best, within the best of our capabilities, to continue to bring you and very, very honest and untainted information. Thank you, and God bless you.